There's one thing stronger than all the armies in the world put together, and that is an idea. Idea perhaps is more stronger than all the weapons in the world put together. Hello and a very warm welcome viewers. You're watching the special presentation of Sansad TV on the journey of startups. We're in Bengaluru right now, and today let's hear the story of India's first microblogging platform, Koff. Koff is a microblogging social media app that was launched in March 2020 by a Bengaluru-based startup. It is currently pitched as India's homegrown alternative to Twitter. The app won the Atmanirbhar App Challenge organized by the government to encourage homegrown innovation. While Koff is almost identical to Twitter in layout and even offers certain features that Twitter does not. One of the biggest advantages of Koff in India is that it allows users to post content in Hindi and other regional languages, which make it popular with Indian users. Users on Koff can share photos, audio, video, and pictures on the platform. The microbloggers can use hashtags, tag others, and chat with others over direct messages. The character limit for Koff is 400 as opposed to Twitter's character limit of 220. Hi Apramaya.
Hi.
Pleasure being here at Koff's office.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. So India's first microblogging social media platform. Tell me, of course, I know that you've been in business for quite some time, but Koff, the idea, how did it germinate? What was the genesis?
So post my first startup, Taxi for Sure, so I started thinking about what's the next big thing that we can build using technology for India. And when I was thinking about that, there would be a large influx of language-speaking Indians who would get access to the internet going forward, right? This was back in 2015, 2016. And, we wanted to build language-first products, internet products for all of them, right? This was for very basic internet use cases like searching for information, expressing oneself, connecting with new people. So when we thought of that, we started experimenting, and we built a voice-first WhatsApp. Then that converted into a voice-first status update app. Then it became a question-answer app, and that's actually running still, called Vocal. And while running Vocal is when some of the people who are answering questions on Vocal in local language said, "I don't want to just answer questions. I actually want to express whatever is on my mind."
Yeah.
This got us thinking. There are so many platforms which already allow expression, but why is this person asking for a different platform? And realize that existing platforms, microblogging platforms, which are global, have only solved expression for 1% of India.
Exactly.
1% of India talking to each other is what is on an English platform.
Right.
Then 99% of India doesn't have their voice on the open internet. All their voices are actually stuck in closed WhatsApp groups, or even on Facebook, which is a friends and family network. So to be able to express whatever one wants in their language, and to be able to connect with new people, or even listen to their favorite actors, cricketers, politicians, leaders in their own language. Like, for example, a person like Anupam Kher or a Virat Kohli will be talking in Hindi and other local languages only on Koff and nowhere else. So all of these reasons is why we started Koff, and we've given a very unique experience to local language expression.
But did you expect the kind of response you got from Indians, from the people, from policymakers, lawmakers, celebrities? Did you anticipate that kind of response?
Well, as a startup, you always are hopeful for everything to fall in place.
Yes.
I think the key word here is serendipity. And we've been at the right place, right time, right? We started this idea, this whole thought process I spoke about. We had it in August of 2019. This is before pandemic. This is before everything else, right? And we just started because we wanted to enable expression. But what is also added to it is the fact that existing global players are not listening to the local law of land.
Right.
Right. And they're not very good at enabling local languages. So both of this combined together gave us an opportunity when actually there was an incident in 2021,
yes.
right? when Twitter wasn't listening to the local law of land.
Exactly.
And if a foreign entity doesn't listen to the local law of land, we were an alternative. And a lot of the leaders across India actually joined the platform, and that influenced a lot of Bollywood folks, a lot of sports people, a lot of common people to actually join the platform. And then is when they realized what we had built.
Right.
And yeah, so serendipity, I would say.
Serendipity is the flavor of the season. But tell me, you made a very important point about international or the global giants in the social media space. Social media is a very effective medium of communication, but it could be equally problematic.
Yeah.
So how do you moderate the content? Is there a robust mechanism in place?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
No, we try and simplify everything that is complex about social media. That's our general philosophy. We use first principles. We use the fact that we are, customizing to a country. Right? Today we are operational in India. We understand the laws of India, and we know the definition of freedom of speech in the offline world. We try to mimic that online. Right? If there is a definition of what is hate speech, what is harassment, what is pornography, all of that is already defined in black and white.
Yes.
So we bring that definition into governing the community online as well, right? There is no different definition, there is no American or any other country definition that we have to apply onto KU. It is just Indian law applied to KU in all of these aspects. So it becomes actually very black and white for us on which content is allowed and which is not allowed. So, being governed by a single law is always very beneficial when you're running a social media platform. How about some coffee at KU office?
Oh, perfect.
In our special KU mugs.
The KU cups. So tell me, how are you different from other social media platforms? Why should one join the KU platform?
So we've taken a very first principle approach to building our product. We live in India. We observe how people are behaving, and we kind of respect the aspect that people are talking in language most of the times. Like even you and me during business hours, we'll talk in English, but at home we're going to go back and speak local languages. So Indians mostly express from their heart in their local language.
Yes.
Right? So bringing all of these onto the platform is very important. So enabling English speaking India to be able to talk in multiple languages at once is a feature we have called multilingual queuing. So you can not only take one thought and make it into multiple languages, but also distribute it to each of the communities separately, because we have different communities. That is one. Second, in each community, every day the Kannadiga is speaking about something different from the Tamilian, is different from Marathi person to a Bangla person. The hashtag trends in each of these communities is different.
Yes.
Because of us enabling language communities. And that is what India is all about. And third, to build a very strong community on the open internet, you have to introduce people to one another.
Right, right.
And that's a very important aspect of getting a very tight social network going.
Yes.
And this is what we have done with all the languages. So we introduce you to people based on your interest. Our machine learning language picks up what is the topic of discussion, and based on what you are liking, commenting on, we will keep referring you to more of such topics and people, so that your affinity towards what you are following on the platform keeps increasing and getting better.
So then there are allegations of data colonization or how the data is being used.
No, so it is always user first. So we're not using it against a user at any point in time. We are actually giving you, so if you are interested in Bollywood, we will give you more Bollywood. In Bollywood, you like a particular actor, or a movie or a director or a singer, we will give you more content from them. And if you express that you don't like it, the machine learning algorithm will start neglecting those signs as well.
Okay.
So it is customized to each one. For you, KU may be a place where you will find a lot of entertainment content. For somebody else, it might be politics. For the third person, it might be all the temples of India coming together.
Yeah.
So the platform will become big only if we can customize and personalize the experience to every Indian, and that's what we do.
So, when you thought of this business model, what was the idea behind?
Well, for us, I think including everybody in our journey, like for example, all global social media today take every user's time and attention as an investment into the platform.
Yes.
Now, because the users are spending time and attention, they are able to go and sell that to an advertiser and make money from them.
Right.
But none of the social media actually give back the money that they made to the user.
Right.
Who is actually investing the time and attention. We are flipping that around. We are actually involving the user and thanking them for the time and attention that they have spent on the platform. This is also a first in social media.
Yes.
So using language and culture, using localization to the country, using inclusive monetization with the user. So these are all concepts that we have brought into the world of social media, and I'm sure there are not just India, but we can go to a country like Indonesia, Nigeria, Middle East, where there are local languages, cultures, and a growing need for them to have their own social media network, and who can provide that.
So what are the plans of going global?
So we're focused on India. We want to prove the entire model in India first, and then go to every country which has multiple languages. Like Indonesia has multiple languages, Nigeria has multiple languages. So all those countries are ripe for us to actually enter. 80% of the world doesn't speak English.
Right.
All of those people will get access to internet, and local language is the way. So our concept of expressing in local language will go across the world. So our focus is in India, as I said, and as soon as we prove it, we'll go to other countries.
But tell me one thing, tech, of course, we've seen a lot of startups. India now has the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. But when you started, what were the biggest challenges and how did you address them?
Yeah.
Tell me those interesting stories, those interesting snippets.
So Koo is my second startup, right? So my first startup, we actually started thinking about the idea in 2010, end of 2010. And at that point in time, there were only a few stories that you could get inspiration from. Like it was a Flipkart or a Red Bus, Naukri, Make My Trip, Book My Show. So these were the names that I had read about and got inspired to actually start up my first startup, Taxi for Sure. And my parents actually were dead against it. They said, okay, you need to settle down. At that point in time, I was 29, and in my head, I wanted to start a company before I turned 30. In their head, they wanted to get me married before I turned 30.
Okay.
So what they wanted from me and what I wanted from myself was very different.
Right.
So I actually convinced them by saying, give me just 2 years. If in the 2 years, I just want to give it my all and see whether I have the capability or something will come together as a startup. If it doesn't, I'll go back and get a job anyways. So that was kind of the compromise that my parents kind of like accepted, and I finally got 2 years to prove myself.
This is hilarious. At 29, your parents wanted you to get married and you wanted to start a company. But tell me, has the startup culture changed in the country?
Absolutely. I think from a time when nobody even was respecting startups. Like my first startup was Taxi for Sure. So my dad didn't even tell my relatives that I was running a taxi company for a whole year.
Okay.
Because he just thought, okay, he's gone to IIM Ahmedabad, now he's running a taxi company, right?
Okay.
So from that to now, the whole country actually wanting to do startups, and there are shows like Shark Tank, which is encouraging more and more startups, right? So I think the whole culture has changed. There is amount of resources that are available are much more. The number of people who have done successful startups or attempted startups are so many. So there's so much learning in the ecosystem that new entrepreneurs can come and actually learn from and avoid those mistakes. So every startup now will make lesser mistakes than 10 years ago. Will have a higher probability of success because the ecosystem has learned so much and has much more resources.
All right, I'll use one catchphrase from Koo's office only. One day the whole world will use Koo.
Yes.
What are the expansion plans? Where is the funding going to come from?
Yeah, so we are a startup. We've not yet fully launched our monetization.
Yes.
So we will keep raising money. We have a wonderful team that we've built. We've got technology costs. We have costs on marketing. So to fund all of this to a certain scale, we will need funding. We've raised from some of the best investors so far.
Okay.
Axel, Tiger, 314. All of these guys are very well-known investors in the Indian ecosystem. And going forward, we will keep raising from good partners who will encourage us to, actually do this. One day the whole world will use Crew.
I'm sure, because of course we've been saying that make in India and for the world.
Yeah.
But before we end this conversation, there are a lot of people, especially the younger lot, they want to start their own venture.
Yeah.
Give me an honest advice for them.
Yeah.
While not painting a very rosy picture,
Yeah.
keeping the balances in place,
Yeah.
what are the challenges and the prospects?
Yeah.
Your advice to the budding entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing is to start for the right reason. Like, you should check whether you're passionate enough. You're the right person to solve this particular problem that you're looking at. Do you have the right solution for it? Are you able to navigate, build a team around you? Because you alone can't do anything. It is a team
Yes.
of people that you will have to attract. So a startup is, like bringing a child into the world, right?
Yes, yes.
It is not going to be easy all the time.
Right.
While at the end of it, the end product will always make you happy because you've kind of like created something new that will help the world.
Right.
So I think there will be ups and downs. So that's why my first statement: start for the right reason, because there will be so many ups and downs. There are more downs than ups in the initial
Yes.
period, and for that one moment of happiness once in a blue moon, you have to struggle every day till it kind of matures and becomes a big company.
But that perseverance, that right idea, that right time, that is extremely crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as in, you have to have tremendous patience. You have to have the agility to move according to the market. So, if you're too rigid and say, okay, this is the idea and I want to only do this and not listen to the market, then you're doomed, right?
Yes.
You have to constantly learn from your users. You have to constantly learn from the market, your suppliers, if there is a supply side to your business. So, I think being adaptive, change every day if required, every moment, and build people around you who will come and show you a mirror every day on whether some of the calls that you take as an entrepreneur and founder is right or wrong.
Right.
I think it accelerates your personality a lot.
Right.
It's a crash course on life. So a lot of benefits. At the same time, you should be ready for the ups and downs.
Absolutely. So be ready for the ups and downs. But fantastic having this conversation with you at the Coup headquarters here in Bengaluru. Well, thank you so much for talking to us, and thank you so much for this candid conversation, and all the very best for all your future endeavors.
Thank you so much.
Well, viewers, that's all we had for you in this edition. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Sansad TV. Namaskar.